So good afternoon, everybody. And we have a really interesting discussion here to talk about entrepreneurship, talk about government involvement, and we have two amazing individuals who I've gotten to meet only recently, but they're pretty phenomenal. So let me just get my notes here. It's been one of those kind of weeks. Global partnerships and entrepreneurships. As I said, you're going to get two interesting and very distinct points of views about this. Incredibly accomplished individuals next to me. They're going to share that. Princess Märtha Louise, right next to me, Her Royal Highness Princess Märtha Louise of Norway. She's author and chair of Princess Märtha Louise's Fund to Benefit Disabled Children. She's done a lot of things in her life. TV host, author, equestrian. She launched her own YouTube channel on horses. She started her own business about 11 years ago, and today running the spiritual center and community called Soul Spring. She has really followed her own path as a true entrepreneur, and she's now inspiring and guiding others to do the same. Her Excellency Inga Rhonda King, 74th President of the Economic and Social Council at the UN, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines to the UN here in New York City. She comes to diplomacy from the private sector, so she looks at things from a couple different angles. Small business owner, author, management accountant with more than 2 decades of professional experience. I could go on, but that's what Google is for. So just Google their names and you can find out more. So I want to get perspectives. Princess Märtha, I want to start with you. Born into the Norwegian royal family, you decided to go a different path, not a traditional path. It wasn't easy for you to do it. Started your own business. Why did you do it? Because I think there's some folks here in the room who might say, you didn't have to do this. You could have had, right, an easy kind of royal life, and yet you decided to do it on your own. I don't know. Is it on? Yeah, press it. There we go, try it.
Is it on? Oh yeah, here we go. I don't know really what an easy royal life is, but...
But you didn't have to do something on your own,
no,
and you did. Why?
Yes. I guess I've always been very curious, and I've always tried to follow my heart and my true calling in life. And as I said before, my father always said you have to be true to yourself and true to who you are, otherwise people will see through it. And that's kind of been my mantra, and also put me quite early on a search for who am I and what is my place in life, because I was not going to take over the throne, so I had to have something else to do. And then I was very inspired to seek inwards and find all these inner questions. And on the way, I found all these tools that helped me in my life. And I wanted to share them with other people so that they could be inspired to find their true calling in life and actually listen to their hearts. Because I think a lot of people have lost their paths and need to come back to their inner voice and their inner calling so that we can all live true lives. And then I think the world can move forward when we all do what we're supposed to do in this world.
But it's not easy, right? Necessarily doing it on your own. It hasn't been an easy path.
No, not really. It was a bumpy ride in the beginning. Basically, the whole of Norway was against it, I think.
Not easy.
And my father was, they all asked if he could please take my title away because this was not worthy of, yeah. So, you know, it's I think for everybody who thinks outside the box and who wants to do something different that's not accepted, where other people don't feel safe about what you're doing, then they will have the same reaction. You will have, you know, you get very many people saying, what do you think you are? Who do you think you are? What do you think you're doing? This is not possible. Then they will slander you and talk behind your back. They will laugh at you. But in the end, they'll turn around and support you.
Got to just keep focused.
Yeah.
So I have to say, I was in London on Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday I sat down with Jo Malone of Jo Malone Fragrances and candles and all that good stuff. And she said to me, she's dyslexic. I don't know if you guys know this, but she said to me, she's on a mission to find the jewel in every single child in Britain, that kids need to be given the opportunities to be entrepreneurs. And Ambassador King, I want to ask you about that because I think she thinks it needs to be part of like an educational curriculum. What do you think about inspiring all young adults, young girls, about understanding that they can kind of do their own thing, forge their own path, just like Princess Märtha?
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and it's exciting to be here, and I want to congratulate the organizers of this event, WEDO. And I'm also so happy to be in front of so many young people. This is an exciting day.
Like, would you girls like to have school where you were taught to be entrepreneurs, how to make your own business? Yeah.
So
Good.
absolutely.
I love
Now,
that.
Of course, I want to start first with reminding us, because entrepreneurship, the definition of entrepreneurship is quite elastic. So what is entrepreneurship really? It is capitalizing really on opportunity to solve problems. So you capitalize on opportunities to solve problems. And it is a creative and innovative endeavor. Having said that, to capitalize on entrepreneurship, on opportunities to solve problems, one has to value one's opinion about things. And women have been taught over the years to be quiet, to not, and we still struggle with that. So first of all, we need an enabling environment where women, where little girls understand that they could and should embrace their femaleness, that what you see and what you think is not only valuable but necessary to solve today's problem. We cannot lift up all of humanity if only one perspective is at the table. So what you think, what you see is necessary. And therefore, we have to empower our girls to understand and embrace their femaleness. So governments, so naturally, you do that in schools. That's the first place, and that's where governments have some say, but we have private schools. But I would say beyond governments, it's society's responsibility to ensure that all voices are heard.
It's interesting that you say that. Diversity, inclusion.
Yeah,
It's not,
absolutely.
you know, it's interesting. We had this conversation this week with the CEO of Virgin Money. She's just actually stepped down because the company was sold, but she made that point that I don't really like talking about parity men and women. I think it has to be parity for everybody. Yeah. And we need to kind of change the way we think about everyone. If we want to be part of the pack, you can't keep separating out segments from the pack.
And if I can add, girls, women are always solving problems. That's what we do. That's our nature. But what we don't do is understand how valuable it is. So when we come to doing business or to get because entrepreneurship is not just about monetizing and having your own business. You have to be entrepreneurial in all spheres of life. So that's the gap in understanding how to value what you think is the solution. And that's where the business element comes in.
Right.
And that's why we need to teach our girls to value what they think, what they see, and how they see, and how they think.
And what is so inspiring today is that we can do this on so many more platforms than when we were young. So you have so many more platforms than we did when we were growing up. You know, you can really get out there and have a voice just now. You can turn on Instagram, you can go on Facebook, wherever you want to go, and you can have a voice. So do it. You know, stand up for something you really believe in and do it.
So first step is you need to be in that position, right? You need to understand that you can do something.
Yes.
Then it's helpful to have a lot of things. Sometimes you need money, sometimes you need programs, sometimes you need access.
Yeah.
Princess Märtha, talk a little bit about when you were building your business, how much assistance did you have?
So the thing was that when I broke the rule on what it's like to be a royal, I went from not being allowed to earn money, because we were supposed to get money from the state, to earning money and paying tax. And then I was not allowed to take money from anybody because wasn't allowed to be sponsored. So I couldn't get any help in my startup at all. So that meant that I had 3 years where I didn't earn any money. Luckily at the time I was married, so, which I'm not now.
But the press was reminding you, right, that things weren't going well too?
Oh yes, all the time. So, and I think that's kind of, when you have a startup, the first years are a rocky climb. It's not an easy ride. It's not everything coming your way. And you have to prove yourself, and you have to show that you can sustain in that niche that you have created. And also build the company, and that takes time. So it's important to have patience and to believe in what you're doing.
Ambassador King, I want you to come back in here and just talk to us about programs, your experience that have been or could be helpful to entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs.
First, let me start with some statistics. Because I wear the hat, I'm sitting here mostly because you recognize me as the president of ECOSOC. So it's important to see how the world is doing. In 2016, that's the last set of statistics I've seen, and I'm going to read what an estimated 163 million women are starting or running new businesses in 74 economies around the world. So progress, there is progress. The women's total entrepreneurial activity rates increased by 10%, and the gender gap decreased by 5% between 2014 and 2015. So there is progress. There's a lot of work to be done, but there's progress. So, and in Africa, where we know that we still have a lot of work to do, we have success stories there as well. In Ghana, where 46% of the businesses are owned by women. In my own region, the group of Latin American and Caribbean states, we see increases in Costa Rica and where else, and in Colombia. But in my tiny country, 41% of the businesses are owned by women. 2 months ago, 41%.
Pretty impressive, yeah.
And 2 months ago, we had the investment promotion agency that I'm the immediate past chair of that organization, had an exposition of businesses in our multi-island state. And 85% of the exhibits were from female business owners. 85%. And this year, all the government initiatives were oversubscribed by women. There were more women wanting training, wanting to understand how to access markets, etc. So we have good news. We have a lot of work to do. So what are some of the programs then that we are doing? And I don't want to monopolize it. Mentoring.
Wait, hold on a second. So let me just, I want to go back to it. Princess Märtha, what programs do you think would have been great to have access to when you were building your business that maybe you didn't or that weren't in existence?
To be honest, I think when you have an idea, you're very good at following up on your idea. I'm very good at giving courses on how to connect to your heart. I'm really good at that. I'm really bad at the economy. I'm really bad at building the
business plan, the structure.
Yes, that's not my talent at all. So having programs to support the structure of how this whole thing works and what you're actually putting yourself into, because you have no idea when you start a startup what is in your way, what's coming your way. And you get all these shocks, coming in. And I think to have those kind of programs, it would be amazing for startups.
Well, let's talk about that, because you've said it's not only about money, it's about having programs like that.
Having programs to support, and to support the way women think. I started by saying the importance of valuing oneself, and that means understanding one's market value. So just as you said, Princess Märtha, you have to have programs that show women, that teach women how to create business plans, how to value what they are indeed doing. And that's key, because we find that women undersell themselves all the time. They will give away, because we are entrepreneurs just by nature. We have to do that. We are problem solvers because we take care of children, of our husbands, of our children, and there myriad stories. The men go out on the town. There's a biblical story about, I think it's in Proverbs or the last one, about the women. The woman is at home tending to crops, selling, organizing the household, and the men are perched on the gate, sounding off, you know. But and this is no disrespect to our men, because we need both. It's just that we have been absent from or getting recognition really for what we actually do. And one of the things we need to do is to value ourselves, and learning how to create business plans is a critical thing, because we lag in that. And you need that to enter, to get financing. If you do not have the proper business plans, no one is going to give you access to financing.
We'll talk about financing. I mean, you were lucky enough that your husband was working.
Yes, at the time, so I was married, and luckily he could provide for the family these years, and then I came back later to support the whole thing as well. So luckily it turned out in a good way. Yes.
But in terms of finding access to investors later on, how easy?
I've never had
You've never had investors. Never had investors, and that's not part of the plan.
No, but for my YouTube channel now is different. So then we started off with a totally new incentive. So there we have investors, but that's just a really new startup. It's only a few months old.
Well, from your perspective, Princess Märtha, what would you like to see in terms of the financial landscape to help folks out there who want to start a business? I bring it up because I remember talking to Tory Burch, and she has a foundation, and she said she was blown away that she had money to give out and she didn't have applicants. This was a few years ago. You know, that women almost didn't know where to go. And
I think that's also a thing, because we think we're not worthy, and we don't think we have such a good idea, really.
Or that we won't be responsible with it?
Who wants to support me? You know, like, I think that's a normal way of looking at yourself. And we have to get out there, and we have to, like, learn in these programs how to talk about ourselves in a business kind of way. So, because I can talk about it to my tribe, but that's not the business people. That's the people that need my help to connect. And that's a total different tribe than the business people. So we need to learn how to sell ourselves through a business concept.
Right, make the case for your business.
Yeah.
Ambassador King, what do you think about when it comes to financial access for folks around the globe who are looking to start a business and entrepreneur?
It remains the number one challenge, the biggest hurdle to overcome. And if I can reach back into my own personal experience, and with an initiative that my government just started, is starting an innovation, entrepreneurship and innovation club. And we are pairing applicants with the Chamber of Commerce, so that we can cross-pollinate, so they learn from each other, and see if we can tease out angel investors from amongst the Chamber of Commerce.
Which is great.
Yes. So, like Tory Burch it would be a great opportunity if she were part of our Chamber of Commerce.
It's a great idea.
Yes.
So 30 seconds, we have to wrap up. I know it's been a busy day for everyone. Princess Märtha, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. What would you like to leave our group with? A message.
I hope that everybody continues to do what they're doing, because I know this room is full of people doing already that, but also inspiring, that you all inspire other people to do the same, to step up, to lean in, to dare to be out there and believe who you are.
It's a great message. Ambassador King.
I will champion what you said. I see so many young girls. I came ready to speak about the ECOSOC, but I'm not even going to do that. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that you are valuable, and what you think and what you say is and will be valued. So go out there and do what you have to do. And remember, it's not, I represent a government. I am in an organization of governments, but remember, governments can't do it alone. It needs the private sector. You need consumers in particular. Consumers have a critical role to play. So when you're buying, buy what women do. Okay?
Good stuff. Thank you, everybody. Thank you both. Thank you.